Welcome back to API Kitchen, where we cook up secure APIs. I'm confident stably, your chef de cuisine in this unique kitchen. Today, we're tackling the delicate dance of API versioning, ensuring that our digital dishes provide both the comfort of the familiar and the thrill of the new. Let's serve up some knowledge. In our virtual kitchen, we cherish the legacy of our creations, yet we strive for innovation. But when our API evolves, we risk the smooth experience of our customers. So imagine introducing a new spice blend that changes the taste of a classic dish. Our users may not be ready for such a sudden shift. Just as a chef preserves timeless recipes, we use our API versioning to maintain the integrity of our original offerings. This allows our users to savor the classic features they know and love, even as we prepare to unveil our latest culinary codes. But we are not just keeping our old recipes, we're crafting new ones. By marking older API endpoints as deprecated, we give our diners, aka our users, a gentle nod that a more exquisite version is on the horizon, ready to tantalize their digital taste buds. A masterful transition is key. With migration guides, we escort our users from the vintage version to our latest culinary creation, ensuring no one misses a bite of the action and everyone is secure. It's a guided journey from a beloved classic to a new gourmet experience. Now, with our users comfortably seated at our digital table, we unveil a new course. Our API versioning strategy ensures that everyone can dine at their own pace, exploring new flavors while the classic dishes remain available for the encore and stay secure. Let's join today's virtual kitchen guest and talk about fixing these security issues. Dan is the co-founder of APISec University, a learning platform dedicated to sharing API security knowledge with the community, and they issue certificates for free for all of their courses. APISec has gotten over 70,000 students in its first year, with over 75% of them coming from Fortune 100 companies. And it's such a pleasure to have you here, Dan, all suited up in your apron. Welcome to the API Kitchen.
Well, thank you so much, Confidence. The honor is mine. I really can't believe I'm actually here in the API kitchen.
Welcome. So I'm just going to delve right into the questions. My first question for you, in your experience, how has deprecated APIs or generally bad API versioning implementation caused security challenges? I'd like you to please share your thoughts on how you might resolve this challenge if you bumped into it in, say, a client environment. Share your thoughts on how you would approach this in both a scenario where the client has a large budget and one where there are substantial financial limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting about version vulnerabilities is that, as my good friend Corey Ball, who you know likes to tell me, versions aren't the vulnerability, it's the gateway to vulnerabilities, right? And so if you think about our outdated versions, if we move from version 2 to version 3, but we don't take version 2 out, a lot of times those older versions will have vulnerabilities. There will be unsupported endpoints that will be less secure than the current version of APIs. And that is exactly what attackers are looking for. When they see V3 in the API path, you know they're going to try V2, V1, and anything else to see if it actually works. Now, if you've got a high budget, what would I do to address this? Well, I'd employ things like an API gateway, right? So if you've got a large volume of APIs or a lot of different consumers, it gets cumbersome just to manage all that information, right? All those APIs, all those users, all those policies. So you really do need to have some sort of centralized management platform. The other thing that I would recommend is to really build a comprehensive inventory, right? Like really know all those APIs that exist around your organization. Make sure there's nothing unknown or rogue or shadow lurking in the weeds there. So definitely make sure you've got a great inventory. For lower budget organizations, actually, there's some pretty basic things that can really help you out. The first thing is just to start talking, right? Start getting the security team talking to the development team. I run into too many security teams where they feel like, oh, we don't know what we've got. We don't know what documentation is. But I guarantee you, if you go talk to the development organization, they have a pretty good idea, right? And this is true for large budget organizations as well. Like we really need to see better collaboration. The other thing is, if you're a smaller organization, prioritize your APIs, right? Like what are the core meat and potato APIs that really are relevant to your business, and make sure you're focusing there, because that's where probably the greatest harm can come from.
Absolutely. That's such a very brilliant and very actionable reply for both big budget clients that you've seen, and what could be helpful for those type of clients just watching this, and also those with very limited budgets. But my next question is one I'm asking every guest, and I plan to actually compare these responses at the end of the season. And that question is, what is one underutilized API security best practice that you consider the salt of the earth? I mean, something that's a basic yet potent aspect that may greatly improve an organization's security posture.
So yeah, Confidence, I've been thinking about what kind of best practices is maybe underutilized in the API world, and related to the kitchen. And tell me, Confidence, would you ever serve a dish, prepare a beautiful meal for your guests, and not taste it before you put it on the table? Or even worse, wait till it's on the table before you test it or taste it? The same is true for your APIs. Like, why would you publish APIs that you haven't tested, you haven't really properly analyzed and vetted for security issues before you push them live, right? And so this is really the best practice that I recommend. And if you think about like how versions can maybe hurt you here, if you think about in the kitchen, you know that one spice that you bought like 3-4 years ago, and it's still in your rack and you don't use it that much. I even went into mine and I looked around, and for me, it looks like it's garam masala, which I love, right? But I don't want to look at what the date is, right? And how can you be sure that that spice is okay, that it's safe for your audience to consume, right? So I really think it's super important that you test your APIs. Make sure you're doing it ahead of production. Make it continuous. If you're testing your API twice a year but releasing code 52 times a year, that's a lot of code going out there without you really knowing what's going on there. So the underutilized practice, especially with APIs, is test. Make sure they are free of vulnerabilities before you push anything live.
Boy, thank you so much, Dan. That was so good. The fact that you actually brought a spice from your rack physically to show is just so relatable. Thank you so much. There you have it, a recipe for successful API versioning that keeps our virtual dining experience both nostalgic and novel, as well as secure. In our API kitchen, we serve up transitions as smooth as our sauces and upgrades as exciting as a chef's special. And that's how you secure an API in our kitchen. In the coming episodes, we'll be discussing even more API security issues and walking you through how to solve them. Remember to subscribe to CCNet TV and hit the notification bell so you won't miss new episodes of API Kitchen showing each Thursday. Until then, keep your kitchen clean, your code cleaner, and your APIs secure.